attack had been a complete surprise.
A sure proof that the unscrupulous Hook had conducted it improperly.
For to surprise Tiger Lily fairly is beyond him.
Every foot of ground between the spot where Hook had landed his forces and the home under the trees was stealthily examined by Tiger Lily's tribe.
They found only one hillock with a stream at its base.
So that Hook had no choice.
Here he must establish himself and wait for just before the dawn.
Everything being thus mapped out with almost diabolical cunning.
The main body of Tiger Lily's tribe folded their blankets around them.
And in the phlegmatic manner that is to them,
the pearl of manhood squatted above the children's home, awaiting the cold moment when they should deal pale death.
Here, dreaming,
though wide awake,
of the exquisite tortures to which they were to put him at break of day,
Tiger Lily's tribe was found by the treacherous Hook.
From the accounts afterwards supplied by such of the scouts as escaped the carnage, he does not seem to have even paused at the rising grounds.
No, it is certain that in the grey light he must have seen it.
No thought of waiting to be attacked appears from first to last have visited his settled mind. He would not even hold till the night was nearly spent.
On he pounded.
Around the brave Tiger Lily were a dozen of her stoutest warriors, and they suddenly saw the perfidious pirates bearing down upon them.
Fell from their eyes, then, the film through which they had looked at victory.
As terrible as the sudden appearance of the pirates must have been to them, they remained stationary for a moment.
Not a muscle moving.
As if the foe had come by invitation.
Then, indeed,
they seized their weapons.
And the air was torn with the war cry.
But it was now too late.
It is no part of ours to describe what a massacre rather than a fight.
Thus perished many of the flower of Tiger Lily's tribe.
But not all unavenged did they die.
They cut a way through the pirates with Tiger Lily and a small remnant of the tribe.
To what extent Hook is to blame for his tactics on this occasion is for the historian to decide. Had he waited on the rising ground until the proper hour, he and his men would probably have been butchered.
And in judging him, it is only fair to take this into account.
What he should perhaps have done was to acquaint his opponents that he proposed to follow a new method. On the other hand, this, as destroying the element of surprise, would have made his strategy of no avail, so that the whole question is beset with difficulties.
One cannot at least withhold a reluctant admiration for the wit that had conceived so bold a scheme and the deadly genius with which it was carried out.
What were his own feelings about himself at that triumphant moment?
Elation must have been in his heart.
But his face did not reflect it.
Ever a dark and solitary enigma.
He stood aloof from his followers in spirit as in substance.
The night's work was not yet over.
For it was not Tiger Lily he had come out to destroy.
They were but the bees to be smoked.
So that he should get at the honey.
It was Pan he wanted.
Pan and Wendy and their band.
But chiefly Pan.
Peter was such a small boy that one tends to wonder at the man's hatred of him.
True, he had flung Hook's arm to the crocodile.
But even this, and the increased insecurity of life to which it led.
Owing to the crocodile's persistence.
Hardly account for a vindictiveness so relentless and malignant.
The truth is that there is something about Peter which goaded the pirate captain to frenzy.
It was not his courage.
It was not his engaging appearance.
It was not.
There is no beating about the bush.
For we know quite well what it was, and have got to tell.
It was Peter's cockiness.
This had got on Hook's nerves,
It made his iron claw twitch.
and at night it disturbed him like an insect.
While Peter lived, the tortured man felt that he was a lion in a cage into which a sparrow had come.
The question now was how to get down the trees.
Or how to get his dogs down.
He ran his greedy eyes over
Searching for the thinnest ones.
them. They wriggled uncomfortably, for they knew he would not hesitate to ram them down with poles.
In the meantime,
What of the boys?
We have seen them at the first clang of the weapons, turned as it were into stone figures,
Open-mouthed.
all appealing with outstretched arms to Peter.
And we return to them as their mouths close and their arms fall to their sides.
The pandemonium above has ceased almost as suddenly as it arose, passed like a fierce gust of wind, for they know that in the passing it has determined their fate.
Which side had won?
Pirates, listening avidly at the mouths of the trees, heard the question put by every boy. And alas, they also heard Peter's answer.
Tiger Lily has won. She will beat the Tom-Tom. It is always their sign of victory.
Now Smee had found the Tom-Tom, and it was at that moment sitting on it.
You'll never hear the Tom-Tom again.
To his amazement, Hook signed him to beat the Tom-Tom, and slowly there came to Smee an understanding of the dreadful wickedness of the order.
Never probably had this simple man admired Hook so much,
Twice Smee beat upon the instrument.
and then stopped to listen gleefully.
The Tom-Tom, Tiger Lily's victory.
The doomed children answered with a cheer that was music to the black hearts above.
And almost immediately they repeated their goodbyes to Peter.
This puzzled the pirates, but all their other feelings were swallowed by this delight that the enemy were about to come up the trees.
They smirked at each other and rubbed their hands.
Rapidly and silently, Hook gave his orders,
One man to each tree.
and the others to arrange themselves in a line 2 yards apart.